And good evening, everybody. Dave, what a night so far, opening night. I don't know if it's lived up to expectations or exceeded them at this point. We're still taking tallies and taking names at this point with some of the great action tonight, but definitely have a headline story here. We're live, the East County Post Game Show. We invite you to join us as well if you'd like, players, coaches. Uh, Hey, why not fire it up when you're on the bus, get home, join us on the show. We'd love to hear from you. The winners, the losers can call too. Tell us what happened. I'm Dave, breaking here right now. We'll get to the Granite Hills Eagles in just a moment. Patrick Henry has scored again. We're a great night to do this. We just saw Granite Hills go up to Mission Hills and defeat the Grizzlies, and I'm monitoring right now what is surely going to be a record-setting night right now, Dave. Patrick Henry has just scored again. There's 4 minutes left in the third quarter. The score is now 63-48. Patrick Henry leads Grossmont, Dave. That's 111 points. The CIF record for most points in a game is 135 in eight-man football, and the Grossmont Conference record is 131. Santana was involved in that game. So still 4 minutes to go, extra point good, 64-48, Dave. But you've been watching the Eagles. Has to be our top story of the night here on Friday night football, with the Eagles beating Mission Hills. And you were most impressed with the defense late, but there was definitely some great plays out there. Max Turner running hard. I saw a touchdown, Dave, get called back. That was definitely a touchdown. 1 foot down. Clear. I think I even took a picture of it here on my phone, because I was going to make a tweet if it came down to it, Dave, if it cost them the game. But nonetheless, Dave, the Eagles got the win 28-17. Great game for the Eagles to get that win on the road.
I think if you want to look at some of the miscues, a couple of penalties late in the fourth quarter that they just weren't necessary. They could have put it away and a couple of runs, take a couple of knees, and just didn't have to work so hard towards the end. I don't know if they were just tired. They weren't hearing the cadence. It was getting pretty loud, but I can tell you that defense. I think besides Max Turner running all over the field, I think he was definitely he's definitely the leading scorer, and he was leading the team. Couple of drop balls by the receivers, but I wanted to also make sure that we gave who was the first one? Trevor Smith had a pick in the end zone. There was 2:21 left, and I think that pretty much sealed the deal, making that pick in the corner. And then I think they knew what they were going to do after that, and that was a couple of runs. And then they had to punt it once, but the defense really did. They complemented each other.
Max Turner scored a touchdown, Dave, early in the game to give them a 7-0 lead. And then there was an unfortunate injury, certainly to one of the Grizzlies' good players, injured his arm, and we did have a delay there in the game, but the game still ran long. It just ended about 5 or 10 minutes ago, as we saw those two late interceptions, and the Eagles got to the Penn State-bound quarterback of Mission Hills, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, like you said, what was taking most of the time was probably the first half. I mean, with 6:25 going into the third, 17-14 was the score, and the Grizzlies had just scored on a 1-yard TD run, got the extra point, and then Turner went right back, 7:17 left, and he had a 29-yard touchdown run. He was making his cuts left and right, and really they couldn't stop him tonight. That made it 21-17, Granite Hills, and then he finished him off, scoring one more time. So it was all Turner, But you got hats off to the defense for putting the pressure on that quarterback and messing up the timing and actually making it easier for the offense to get a breather. And Granite Hills, they achieved exactly what they wanted to do. Kellen Cobbs told me straight up, he said, this is going to be a real big one. And as you said earlier in your report 2 days ago, that whoever loses is going to have to win the rest of their games for sure, so, without a doubt. So, Granite Hills, the pressure's off just a smidge. They don't have to worry about winning every single game. But now the Grizzlies, the pressure's on.
We got Shauna in the chat. Always great to have her. Give us that score, Shauna, if you remember the score. I've got a freshman score here, Dave. It was Grossmont beating Henry 34-14. And I think that's the only one I've got. But that's what I'd like to do is kind of include, remember the good old days, Dave? We used to try to track down the freshman and JV scores. And we've got Nick, he's trying to keep the standings there. So, hey, if we can help out and keep those standings as a matter of public record, that's what we're looking to do here at East County Sports. We're not playing any favorites out here. I don't care if half the teams, Dave, aren't really interested in participating. We'll cover those teams just as strong as we will against, or as best I can, Dave. And I'm going to go over a few scores here right now. Izzy in the chat. I hope I got that right. We're watching that game still right now. Henry's got the ball, Dave. Grossmont just had, breaking news, a sack for Grossmont right now. It's actually the second one I've seen here in the second half. So Grossmont is tensing up. We still have a whole quarter of football, Dave. We might be off the air. We're going to stay about 45 minutes if we can get some people to, join us if they're watching. People are just starting to file in. We've already got couple, 3 or 4 dozen right now in here, and we're inviting you guys to join us. The link is in the chat. If you know Dave, you can contact him or me on X. If you want to come on the show, just make sure it's fine with your family. That is one thing that's very important to Dave and I, that you get your parents' permission if you're a player that's under 18 years old. But we'd love to have you. That's what we do, Dave. We interview these kids. And again, Dave, the teams that, we're not hearing from as much, we want to talk about your kids and get them the publicity. We know there were some great performances tonight, Dave. I also want to add, Dave, in that Granite Hills game, don't forget the touchdown that Benitez threw, the 8-yarder. He kind of jumped it and threw it to Lathan Fry late in the second quarter with just 17 seconds left. Remember, that made it 14-10. So Granite Hills led at the end of one. Remember, they also had a good drive, Dave, and I think they fumbled there after they had that 7-0 lead. But Mission Hills, they couldn't really, capitalize. The Eagles looked like they still had the speed on them a little bit too. So really a clutch performance. I'm totally impressed. I picked the Grizzlies here, but right now the Eagles are a factory. This is just awesome. And totally thrilling game actually tonight. It's our big game here. Patrick Henry's running down the sideline again. Dave might be knocked out of bounds. They're inside here. It's 64-48 with 1:30 to go in the third quarter. Go ahead, Dave. Tell me about the Eagles a few more minutes.
How about those poor? Oh man,
okay.
They were so fired up. We had them on the show last night. They sounded like they were ready to play and they were ready to at least make it a game. And the El Cajon Valley Braves, they played hard, but they ended up again losing to Crawford for the second year in a row to open the season.
Okay. Yeah, 31-0, Dave. We don't have too much on it. The score actually just came across. We probably won't get too much on it from the guys, but hope they learned a lot out there against the Colts. I guarantee you, Dave, you might have caught the tone in my voice. The Colts, they might be short on numbers, but they are pretty darn good with Coach Marquez. Hey, if Coach, we'll invite the opponents to come talk about it, as long as you throw in a good word about some of our guys too. We'll definitely promote the Colts. I talked about a few of their guys in the write-up of the game. If you looked at the Fearless Forecaster write-up,
Yes.
I mentioned the good players of the Crawford Colts in that game. So let's just show the score at least, so we have everything of record. We won't leave it up there for too long. We're going to try to cover every final. There are a couple that are still outstanding, Dave, and we're going to see right now. But hey, we're going to check in with Andrew coming up. He's going to report to us, I think, the Sultans,
Yes.
Dave, if we can move to the coverage now of that one.
I just sent him a link to report it for us. He said they won 20-7. I said if he could give us some more information, that would be great. And there he is. There's Andy. He's ready to tell us all about the big Sultans win.
Were you out there?
I wasn't out there, but I got a report that we won 20-7.
Oh, 20-7. You sat then. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
What else you got?
We had a hard time throwing the ball tonight. Our running game did okay, and our defense held them to 7 points, which is pretty good for us.
Yeah, it was 14-7, I believe, at halftime of that one. So the Sultans,
quite a while, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good win, no doubt, for the Sultans, Dave, in this one, to go out and pick up that win and get that extra touchdown. I haven't heard much yet from this game at all. In fact, I thought I saw an erroneous report of the score early on, but sounds good there. 20-7. I'm okay with that. A win tonight for the Sultans. I'll keep researching that unless we have any details of the game or you can describe.
I've been told by the athletic director that was the final.
Excellent. All right, Dave, you got any more questions for Andrew? Or Andrew, have any questions for us about the Sultans or the games tonight?
There were some pretty good games. I did see El Cap play last night. I thought they won 21-7. I mean, I was been keeping up with the score, and there's been some pretty good games tonight. I think it's going to be an interesting season for us. I mean, we're still trying to find that guy to throw the ball to, and right now we don't really have anybody that throws the ball on really all three levels, but we're getting there.
Okay, well, it sounds like it was good. I'll set the record straight on there. It did end up 21-14. You might have missed that. There was a late touchdown, so you might have tuned out of that. I'll cut you some slack on that one, Andrew. Vaqueros were easily in command of that game, Dave. It was a big play by El Capitan Jr., Bruin Ford. You wouldn't have believed this if you see it. Now, there may be some highlights tonight on the local show. Lucas Garcia and Bruin Ford had the quarterback right in their sights. And as Garcia went to make the tackle, he kind of stripped the ball, and I believe it either kicked up off of his thigh. It might have even been the quarterback's leg. The ball bounced up into the arms of Bruin Ford. He took off down the sideline for a huge play all the way for the score, a big momentum shift in that one for the Vaqueros. He took it 65 yards down the sideline, and where El Capitan was trying to field a punt. And look, just get away from, you first of all, you might think you're going to bust it, right, for 60 yards. But really, if you don't, your team's going to be forced to go 60, 65, even with the great Brant Barker. We're trying to track Brant down. He's at the Padre game, they said. We talked Padres. I think they bounced back tonight. So what happened was it looked like they had lost the momentum a little bit, and they had a third down situation. Did Mira Mesa, maybe it might have been second down. Quarterback goes rolling down. These two guys chase him down. That big play happens. So instead of Mira Mesa trying to steal momentum with a late first half touchdown, ended up going the other way. El Cap had the 14-7 lead into halftime. Marlon Ames had 2 sacks in the first series of the game. Brady Girolamo, I talked to him after the game. He was really proud of the effort. I shouted him out because I'm so old. I remember his uncles playing, his brother playing at Helix. They had a 7-0 lead when Barker threw a pass to Aiden Benegas down to the 3-yard line, and Girolamo took it in for a touchdown and a 7-0 lead. Mira Mesa got a touchdown run from Ryder Lai, but then Barker had a touchdown pass to Benegas over the middle to extend the lead to 2 touchdowns with 11:52 in the fourth quarter. Coach Berner said it was one of Brandt's best games. I don't know if it was one of his best games statistically, but he really seemed to be more disciplined than we've seen from Brandt Barker. And Mira Mesa, pretty decent team. It was definitely tough, but man, another one where I thought our East County, Dave, Andrew, let me have it, you guys, because I think I called for the Marauders to win that one.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say this for. I'm gonna say this for my school. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a tough league. El Cap's gonna be, I think, solid. I think El Cajon. Now you got Valhalla into the I believe in the Valley League. I personally think it's going to be a tough league. I think, and I'm going to go out on a limb. I think it's going to be a tough league, pretty much in all the sports. I mean, the league's not what it used to be 10, 15 years ago. I mean, now you got to pull your weight, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, and that bring. I mean, look at how Mount McGill is now. They went from Division 4, and now they're up playing with the big boys after getting new coaches, and they're all seeming to flock to the head coach over there. And then some of those players are just outstanding players. I mean, true athletes. And I know you have a final on that one yet, Ramon.
If I may, go ahead, Andrew.
I'll say this about that side of the league as well. I think if Mount McGill performs well, they can win their back-to-back championship. And I'll say this. I'm sure he won't like me saying this, but if Kellen Copps wins his 3rd CIF title, he's going to have people looking at him. I truly believe the JC colleges are going to start looking, unless somebody disagrees with me on that.
I do, because we're going to keep Coach Cobbs there until I say he can leave, okay, at Granite Hills. That's how it is.
They're saying, I don't know where I read it, maybe it was you, Ramon, or one of the players, they said there might even be a possibility of eventually a statue of Kellen Cobbs on the actual
that sounds more plausible to me than Coach. Look, I'd probably put Coach on half the teams in the NFL right now. But
I think it's just he has built that Granite Hills program where I don't think nobody else could do what he's done.
Let me go with it then, because look, it's a 2-team race right now in the Grossmont Hills League, Dave. Helix did not look good tonight. They have a lot of work ahead of them if they're going to compete with the Granite Hills Eagles and the Mount McGill Matadors. The Matadors went up to Long Beach tonight to take on St. Anthony, and it was all about the Matadors, especially in the second half. They controlled the action, and they made a big defensive stop in the first half that really keyed the game for the Matadors. They got down early when St. Anthony's drove on the first drive of the game to take the lead, but it was A.J. Stowers to A.J. Logan. A.J., are you guys as old as I am? Andrew remembers. And it was 7-7 at that point. The Saints then fumbled, and the Matadors capitalized again with a pass from Stowers to Paris Vernon from 43 yards. It made it 13-7. Saints ended up with a couple of turnovers in the first quarter, and then Mount McGill turned away St. Anthony's at the goal line on 4 straight running plays as time expired in the first half. If the Matadors are out there, Coach give us a call. We want to hear from you guys riding the bus home right now. I want to see a pack of Matadors in my face here in the next 30 minutes if we can do it. I've asked them. The link is in the chat, or we'll try to get a hold of these guys.
You know what I liked about Mount McGill was, last year. I don't think I ever seen this happen, at least as a coach. They won it CIF in football. They won it in basketball. I believe they won it in track and baseball. And I'm forgetting one other sport, but I think they had a heck of a year for that athletic program. I mean,
I'm working on it to see if I can get Coach on here from Mount McGill and see if he can have some of those kids shout out. I'm looking right now.
Okay, well, no problem. I got plenty more, and we're running out of time. So
you tell me what you got. You just keep going. I think you're doing fantastic.
Well, it was a 6-minute drive, and the Matadors turned them back at the goal line. Second half came in, and it felt like it was all Matadors. Listen to some of these names. You're going to get used to all these guys. There's a lot of them. KJ Shields had a 2-yard touchdown run. Then the Matadors had an interception and capitalized with another AJ Stowers touchdown to I want to get it right. I want to say it right. I might need help on this one. I believe it's Ezeal Buchanan, Ezeal. I'm going to say it's Ezeal Buchanan with the touchdown with 4:25 left in the third quarter to make it 27-7. Then Jaden Hunter had a 1-yard touchdown run for the Matadors with under 2 minutes to go in the third. They eventually extended the lead to 40-7 when Stowers hit Logan again, and the AJs combining for another touchdown with 9:51 left in the game to go up 40-7. At that point, they actually got Jeremiah Lopez in there with a 30-yard touchdown pass to DJ Wilkins to extend the lead to 47-15. That was after St. Anthony had put up a consolation touchdown. So that combined with the loss here of El Camino defeating Helix at Benton Hart Stadium 49-20. It was not a good night, especially for the Helix defense. It did seem like a class, one team, and Helix maybe at the bottom of the Division I contenders right now. Really, you have El Camino come in, and yeah, we had them on there, Dave, but we know that Lee Norman Lester, he described himself as a guy, and he was fun to watch, but I just don't know if it was out of necessity so much. He looked great on a lot of these big plays. He would scramble out of the pocket. He'd do an incredible reverse pirouette out of the pocket, getting it to some of his good receivers. He also picked up the ball on an RPO that kind of got discombobulated, and he ended up with a touchdown with 6:39 left in the first quarter. He also had a 35-yard run on that drive before the 11-yard touchdown run. And then El Camino tied it up at 7-all by a touchdown from Leo Bell at the end of the first quarter. El Camino then had a wild interception return for 60 yards that allowed them to set up their next touchdown. It was a pass that was kind of a jump ball. It ended up in the arms of the El Camino defensive back, and he ended up running down the sidelines past all the Highlander tacklers, all the offensive players. They ended up with a 1-yard touchdown run to go up 14-7. Then the Wildcats had an 18-yard touchdown pass with a minute left in the first half and led 21-7. Then Norman Lester, a 52-yard touchdown pass as Helix tried to close the gap, 28-13, but El Camino had answers every time. Lee Norman Lester ended up with another touchdown run to make it 35-20, Dave. But in the end, it was El Camino. And right now, Helix has definitely fallen out of that group. Maybe I was giving them a little bit too much on their pedigree. I think a little bit. We need to do a little bit of work here.
How about the other Santee team, West Hills tonight?
Yeah, Dave. Tough trip out to Imperial tonight. West Hills managed a touchdown late, but they lost 28-6 to the Tigers. We talked about what kind of conditions that they would face out there, and just the fact that the last time they went to take on Imperial, Dave, it was 21-3 just a few years ago. And this West Hills team is certainly going to be competitive as far as their, exactly what Andrew said, in league, in some of these games, but Imperial right now, and it was very similar to that game. But I still think you'll see West Hills kind of with that same record that they were able to put up, for example, in that season. I think they went 3-2. And again, I just think that in the Valley League, what Andrew was talking about, Dave, is that between Santana, West Hills, and El Capitan, that you could see, each of those teams kind of chop each other down. Now, if the Braves can come up and get, a win, or Valhalla, as you
I
mentioned,
thought El Cajon was decent last year. I thought El Cajon played pretty good, and I'll say this about Helix. Helix will be down this year because their offensive line graduated last year. So
here comes Coach Estes. He'll give us the lowdown. He'll tell us. I used to have to bother him with text. Now I've basically just said, you know what? Just come tell me who scored touchdowns. And great job, Coach.
Thank you.
All I see tonight so far. We'll look at the highlights later, I'm sure, in a
you
few
guys
minutes.
have a good night.
Thank you,
Andrew. And did you get my text too, Coach? I'm sure you did with the link.
It was here. Coach Tim looked like he froze
there?
on. There you are. We got you, Coach. Even if your video's down.
I'm heading out of the.
That's okay.
See if we can get Coach back by the time he gets to the car, Dave.
Yeah, because I sent him a link too, so I guess we both got him.
Well, if he's here, he got it.
Go ahead, Coach.
I'll kind of fill in the blanks here, Dave, until Coach's video. But here he comes. That's a good connection now.
There we go.
All right, Coach. All I've seen so far is that we have held a 14-7 lead, and we're able to extend that to 20-7 eventually. But that's
correct.
Really all I've got.
That's the final score was 20-7.
You know who scored for us?
Caden Holloman scored 2 touchdowns. And the third one actually might have scored all 3. Shoot. I'm waiting for my stats guy to tell me stuff, but I'm sitting
No problem. How did we score? Did we so Holloman scored?
Rushing.
I mean
rushing.
Mm-hmm. All 3
Caden had a long run of I want to say somewhere in the neighborhood of 60-something yards. And then he had a short run of like 4 yards. Well, actually, I think Wyatt Williams scored the other one, and he had a run of like 2 or 3 yards.
Now, do I recall, Coach, you were talking about, I believe it was you that said that, if it got out of hand, that you would definitely take your foot off the gas pedal. You weren't out to run up the score or anything like that.
No. Oh, no, absolutely. But, they did a good job.
Oh no, this is definitely a good defensive performance for them. For you, of course, too, Coach.
Yeah.
But for them, maybe you can describe the way the game was played. Maybe we were expecting a little bit more from us, but it's holding the team to 7 points. That's all you need to do.
Right, and it was a good game. Both teams started off kind of slow. It took a little while to kind of get some things rolling, and then our defense really did a great job again and kicked in and held everybody, so that was nice.
Who really stood out to you, Coach,
any
tonight?
Defensive names? Yeah, go ahead.
There was a few people. Aiden Thornton did a great job. Our young freshman Julian Mayers did a good job. Jordan Gillisey did a good job. We had a bunch of guys all came up because we're not the biggest team in terms of physical size, but all our kids run and make swarm to the ball, and so we have 3 or 4 people on the plate all the time.
So obviously your offensive line, for you to be rushing the ball the way as effectively as you were tonight, that offensive line must have had their work cut out for them, but they were definitely given plenty of protection and opening up those holes.
Yeah, like I said, it took us a little bit to get started, but once they got started, the third quarter we did pretty well. We were able to run a couple run plays that worked really well for us, so it was nice.
Well, and then you saw there's a couple other games. El Capitan, I'm sure you saw that one last night. I tell you what, that was a phenomenal game to watch, especially the 65 yards after picking up the ball. And I mean, that's a speedy individual.
Yeah.
And then Brett Barker, I mean, he's got a heck of an arm. So there, like we said, we're all going to compete, but I'm sure they're going to be right up there with you too. And then unfortunately, the Elko Valley Braves, boy, we talked to them last night, and they were real pumped up to actually do something different with the Colts. But unfortunately,
I saw that score.
It was similar to the score before. So, but it's game one, right?
Right.
I mean, the season's not over, and as long as they forget that one quickly, they should recover. You know, new coaches, new player. I mean, they lost 16 seniors. So
right. Oh no, I understand. Okay, I know they're paying. I know they said we lost 34, so
double.
Yeah, I understand.
Hey, Coach, I got another one for you here. You know,
What's that?
remember, I don't know if you've caught wind of what's going on up at Grossmont High School tonight, but your Grossmont conference record for total points in a game, remember the 131-point game is in trouble tonight. Grossmont trails 77-48, and there's still 5 minutes left in the game. It's really slowed down here in the second half, Coach. It was 56-42 at halftime.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm riding back on a bus, and I'm looking at scores, and I'm going, at first I thought it was a typo. I go, there's no way it's 57. I go, that's just crazy. And then they said, nope. And somebody else verified too. And I go, holy crap, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, the Hillers might be running out of gas here. That's 121 points, I think. I might be a little behind in the feed trying to fire up the show, but do appreciate it. We want to make sure you got anybody else that you remember. We'll piece it together if you want to send something in, and we'll look at the highlights on the TV highlights here in a little bit too. I'm sure they were at the game.
Yeah. And I'm sure Coach still has. You probably still have my email, and you can always send the stat sheet to me, and I'll always share it with Ramon so he can have it in his hot hands.
Yeah, I will do that. I just text my stats guy to, hey, take a picture and send it to me. So I'm hoping he does that anytime.
Yeah, but you think all three were rushing touchdowns? Holloman for sure, too. He had the 60-yarder?
Yeah, he had a 60-yarder. He also had like a 40-yard
60 run. 60 or 6, Tim?
I want to say about 60-ish yards.
Okay, just a big one, though. 60 other side of the field for sure. And then we had a 4 and maybe just a couple inside the 5, you said?
Exactly. And then our defense as a whole, we had a goal line stand at the end of the game. We kept them out. They had first and goal from the 5, and we held them. So it was nice.
Okay, good performance. And the Pack could only manage 6 points out at Imperial tonight. And I don't think Valhalla got on the scoreboard against. They lost to Classical. I know Classical had a couple of touchdowns. Don't have it quite pieced together there yet. But looks good for the Sultans so far. Looks good for, I would think, no problem with West Hills, I think, Coach, because look, that year that they went out there and lost 21-3, they were still right there in the same situation as usual.
Yeah, and you can never count out the Valley teams. Those Valley teams out there, they're tough kids, man. They're tough. So I never take it for granted if somebody loses to Imperial or Central or Brawley. So
even Vincent Memorial, the same thing with them.
Oh, yeah. We had a lot of good battles with Vincent Memorial a few years back. So they came down to the wire on a couple of them. So,
well, we appreciate it. If you think of anything else, feel free to let us know. We're trying to get as many people we can
of course.
tonight.
Well, thanks for being the guinea pig, Coach, and we'll see if we
My
can
pleasure.
drum up some other people. I think this is something I want to do, and we'll get off the air right before everybody wants to watch the highlights on TV. So that's when we're going to cut it off because I want to watch it too. All right, Tim.
I'm trying to get home. So
Great job.
All right,
Thank you, Coach.
Go Sultans. Great job.
Absolutely.
We'll clean it up on the website tomorrow, Dave. We'll try to get some more info from the game. Thanks, Coach Estes, for joining us.
Yep.
Always appreciate it.
Andrew qualifies as a correspondent. Tim qualifies as a guest. All right, Dave, we've got a few more here that we're going to cover right now, including Steel Canyon taking on Ramona. It was a big victory for Steel Canyon, Dave, winning tonight by 10 points. They really had a bigger lead than this, where they were well out in front. Ramona kept kind of coming back a little bit. A huge night for John Weaver, the fourth. He scored 2 touchdowns early, take a 14-0 lead. Ramona came coming back, and you know what? We've got Dave on our hands here with the Cougars, an Olivieri sighting here coming up because I don't know the relation. Probably Marcelo Olivieri, a 58-yard touchdown reception, and later on a 9-yard touchdown reception. Weaver added a 15-yard touchdown run that made it 26-7. Then a 15-yard run that made it 32-21. Ramona kept coming back, Dave, but they never could pass the Cougars. They eventually had a 64-yard touchdown completion, and then to cap it off, a fumble return for a touchdown, Dave. I'm not sure the yardage here, but it ended up being 51-41. The fumble return for a touchdown made it 51-34. I'll just say it, Dave, that Steel Canyon was well in front of Ramona in another one where I picked the Bulldogs. I was just a little intimidated by the road, and I shouldn't be because, let's face it, East County is still on a roll from last year, except for my Highlanders.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, what was Ramona's ranking as opposed to Steel Canyon going into this game, the computer rankings?
Oh, the computer rankings? Yeah, because I think, I might have had them just a little bit higher. And again, it's tough, when you're not hearing from teams, and you want to know a little bit more about them. Of course, we know that, Weaver was going to be the guy here. Let's see what the old computer said on the matchup for this one. I mean, you got to figure also with Ramona at home. Ramona was a good 50 points higher in the rankings, stronger than Steel Canyon. The rankings, the computer rankings, have Ramona 25th in the section and Steel Canyon 30th in the section. So, all right, let me try to knock out a few more, Dave. I think we're only going to stay on for about 10 more minutes unless we get a player or a coach.
I'm still working. Working on.
It might be this might be our only show like this. I don't know, but I'm willing to do it if everybody's willing to watch us. We've got almost 100 viewers right now, so we can cover a few more games. I watched almost every game. A couple teams, the camera didn't work. I got that, so no problem there. But let's see what else we can manage.
Wait, here. Hold on a second. Hold the papers. I might be getting Max Turner on from the bus from Granite Hills. He's going to hop on.
We'll find out once we see him. He
right now.
Okay. They just pop in and grab the link, and we'll get them on and see the Eagles. And maybe they're already on the road and coming back. Try to stick with these guys here. It might be the PPR. It might be the PPR game of the day. So there might be highlights coming on here in about 15 minutes, and see if we can get Max and the crew. See how we're rolling it from the bus. He's here now, Dave. Might have just. We can hear you, Max. You might not be able to see it, but that doesn't matter. Congratulations on a great.
It's very dark in here.
No problem. No problem. We're going to get everybody to put the light there, turn their phone on you, but as long as you can hear us, that's all we really need. And to tell us about the game tonight. Great job, man, against the Grizzlies, Dave. If you want to lead in, Max, with a question.
Yeah, Max. I mean, was that the whole game plan in the first place? I know we struggled a little bit on some passes and in the receiving end of it, but boy, you just had some major holes, and you were just running all over the place. You credit to your offensive line, I'm sure, because they couldn't stop you. You were bulldozing them, or you were going around them, through them. Tell us about that.
Well, nothing would have been possible without my O line. And yeah, our game plan going into it was definitely like throw the ball a lot more, but that didn't work, so we had to stick to the run game.
And their defense really couldn't. They couldn't close those gaps. And I'm sure Coach Cobbs was after, especially going into the third quarter. It looked like you guys decided that was going to be, in fact, the way to go for the remainder of the game. I'm sure it is that what you talked about at halftime.
Well, we didn't really talk about it, but I feel like we knew after the first half because, you know, we were getting at least like 5 yards per play. So why not just keep doing it and, you know, just drive down the field like that?
Hey, Max, I'm sure. I'm sorry, Dave. I just got to tell Max. I'm sure glad you had that late touchdown run, Max, because we got jobbed on a touchdown pass. Obviously, 1 foot was in. I don't know where you were on the field, but come on, that was a touchdown.
Oh, that was a touchdown by far, man. I don't know what he was looking at.
And I think it was the next play or two. It was the next play. You said, I better take this in because that made me mad. I was going to take a picture right off of Mr. Sanders' YouTube and plaster it all over X and say, touchdown.
No, he had a foot in for sure.
Yeah, and Max, how about Trevor Smith? Do you think that was a huge play at that time? It was 2:21 left in the fourth quarter. Comes up with that big pick in the end of the end zone. I think that pretty much you all thought that sealed the deal. What were you guys
100%.
thinking?
We're like, oh, yeah, the game's over now. Like, as soon as he got that pick, you know, we just had to get like a first down or something, and we would have been all good.
I noticed the unfortunate thing. I was yelling myself. We had a couple of penalties we probably need to clean up a little bit. Some of them towards the end of the game, you know.
Yeah. But that one, like, he fell. So that
I did feel like there was a little bit of North County bias, and I'm not usually that guy, but you know.
No, I could definitely feel that right there. They jumped a few times, and I don't know how they couldn't call it.
Yeah, we were watching, and that's why I was yelling at the screen.
Put a real damper, a real bummer on the game when Ratcliffe got hurt there. It looked like snapped his arm or shoulder.
Yeah, nah, I feel bad because like no one wants to go out like that.
Prayers up to Jace and hope he gets better
understand.
after that. We had a good drive there in the first half, and did we fumble there? What happened?
Ooh, I don't really know because like I was blocking, but like I think the ball got hit out of his arm or something.
Yeah, you remember the play though, huh?
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. Hey, and how about how do you think Benitez looked? I agree with Dave, and maybe the receivers do agree. And that's one area where we've got to gain a little bit of experience. The short passes certainly work. Brendan was cutting along really good as well, but Lathan looked great on that touchdown reception, didn't he?
Oh yes, man. I don't know how he got up so high. You know, I don't think anyone, like no DB could stop that.
And to get that touchdown right at that point there. What'd you think of the defense getting to Hune?
Yes.
Yeah. But Benitez outplayed another Division I guy, Max.
Wait, can you run that back?
The defense pressuring Hune, the Penn State guy from Mission Hills, and Benitez outplays another Division I bound quarterback. Even though he's still young, I think Hune's going to get better, but Benitez had the better game, didn't he?
Yes, he did. But like, we got to give our credibility to defense, you know,
yes.
Especially our DBs. They were locking down. They were getting some picks out there. And Parker with the pick at the, last play?
Yep. That was a fantastic one. That definitely sealed the deal. But it was kind of funny because Smith had already had one. That sealed the deal. That was just a bonus. Yeah. The last one. And, yeah, your secondary played great, but they were really putting your edge rushers were really putting some big-time pressure on their quarterback all night.
Yeah, 100%. They were doing great on defense. Wouldn't have been there. Like, we couldn't be in that situation without them.
And then you helped them out, Max. I mean, for you to be and you sped the game up a little bit, especially in the second half. Once you realized what was working and it was going to be pounding the ball, I think that the second half seemed like it went by in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I just what's it called? I just knew I had to keep running the ball and keep getting yards so we could stay in the game.
Now, one thing I want to say, there was, and Ramon wrote the article, there was this was one of the biggest games to start off the season for both squads, for you and the Grizzlies. And whoever lost this game, it was going to be a tougher season ahead because they were going to almost have to win the rest of their games in order to qualify for the open division. Now that you guys beat the Grizzlies, that I don't want to say it takes all the pressure off, but it takes a little bit of the pressure off of having to win every single game, which I know that you guys are going to try to do anyway. But this was huge, a very big win.
On the road, Max. That was great.
Yeah, it was a very great win, a very good team win for sure. We just got to clean up some stuff, and next week we got to get ready for next week.
Yeah, those penalty flags, I think at the end though are, I think personally were ticky tacky, and I don't know. I wasn't too happy about them myself, but hey, they got a job to do too. But yeah, impressive win. I'm sure Coach Cobbs was proud of all of you, and you definitely were, along with the defense, you were definitely the MVP tonight.
3 TDs, Max. Great job. And Max, hey, did you see any other scores tonight? I want to throw some by you.
Yeah, I saw a few. I saw the Helix score.
Yeah, my Highlander, boy, bow down to the Eagles. My Highlanders got rocked. Mount Miguel ended up crushing the team in Long Beach tonight with a 48 to 15 win for the Matadors. Steel Canyon beat Ramona 51 to 41 in Ramona tonight as a big one, and a crazy one, Max. I know that the Foothillers are not the caliber of the top teams, I'm sure, in the hills, but listen to this: 77 to 48. Patrick Henry won.
77.
77.
Dang, bro, that's a lot
of walking sticks.
That's actually crazy. I don't.
It is. Thanks, Max, for being our first live guest of a post game. Maybe this will make me want to come back and do it again with Dave next week. You were awesome, not only in the game, but we told you to be our correspondent. And congratulations to all your friends there on the bus. They're probably going to make fun of you here in a minute.
All right, thank you a lot.
Thank you. Great win.
3 touchdowns tonight in the win, Dave. Your Eagles.
That's right.
We're not going to make Max, comment about those other teams there. We know what's going on. But again, I'll just say it, Dave. The Highlanders right now, it's going to be a little bit of a problem because of, just falling behind in this and looking like they did against the El Camino's good. We know that. But it really comes down to at this point, Dave, Mount Miguel goes on the road to Long Beach and wins. Granite against a top open division contending team like Mission Hills. Shout out Nicole Noel for the beautiful picture she posted tonight. Look at that tackle. That was in tonight's game. One of the best photographers in the county, no doubt. So, all right, Dave, we'll get out if you want and go watch the highlights. Let me see if there's anything else I can clean up here.
I did try to get Joey Hamilton on the show. Unfortunately, with the loss, I think that's why he chose not to. It was going to be loud anyway, and I think I don't think they were too happy about that one, going out to the desert when they were pretty confident that they were going to go out there and get the W.
Okay, I do have one other. You're going to like this, Dave, and I think this is the only one that I can really report on with much confidence as far as the information that we have right now. But you're going to like it, Dave. It was tonight. Mountain Empire defeated Hamilton of Anza 8-0. And Dave, we have a Will sighting. Cameron Will, 21-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter with under 7 minutes to go. Final score 8-0. Red Hawks win. We have a Will. Where there's a will, there's a way, Dave, for the Red Hawks. 8-0 shutout tonight. The Red Hawks are back.
I probably could get him on, but you want to get off and go watch this. But I am probably still going to give him a call, and I'm going to send you those. And I'm going to send you those quotes.
It won't take you long to get the box score on that one. So just get some defensive players, and we'll go from there and try to promote them a little bit. Also, we didn't hear tonight from the Monarchs yet. Let me try them one more time here in their game against Vincent Memorial. I'm having a bad vibe right now. We might have to call a 7-Eleven, Dave, to get the score of this one. It feels like after seeing what happened to a couple of our teams.
Or John Cotera.
So, okay, let's see if I can clean up anything else here. I think I can. That's about all I can do with the scores. I think you got everything that I would be remiss, Dave, if I didn't get to this. And we were having such a great conversation. The game ended. They walked it off. I don't even want to show the score. I believe it was a final 77-48, but there could have been a late touchdown. Let me shout the offense out. And I'm gonna call out Coach Lawrence. I mean, we love him and all that. I'm sure he's not happy. I'm sure they're not happy with what went on. But there's no doubt these are some very, very impressive things that happened tonight, especially for Tommy Donovan, Dave. He was throwing touchdowns all over the yard tonight. He had a 16-yarder in the first quarter. Henry answered, but then off a deflected pass, Henry actually took the lead. But here comes Tyler Holmes with a 21-yard reception from Donovan, and then Grossmont's 61-yard pass from Donovan to Vanderberg there. I believe that was his second of the first quarter. The score at halftime, as I said, it was out of control, Dave. I might have given him an extra touchdown. It was like 56-34 or something like that. They continued on with another touchdown. Also a huge night for Noah Walker with multiple touchdown receptions. I think I have 2 for sure. I have 3 for sure, 38 yards and also 33 yards. I have 2 for sure. I think there was another one. No, it's hard, Dave. We scored 48 points, but again, Henry had the big night in the end there. But that's about as much as I could do as we were prepping for the show, and that one having a little bit too much scoring for me to keep up totally. But you get the idea of what happened there.
Do you want? I'm gonna try real quick. If you can just hold on just a second, and I'm gonna see if we can get our correspondent Kasim real quick and see if he can just shed some light real quick. And I'm sending it to him right now.
Okay. Well, I'm ready to keep talking then. If you are, I'm ready to go watch the PPR highlights. But if you want to try to stay on here, we got over 100 watching, so I don't want to keep anybody from watching our buddies. I feel like, we steal 100 viewers or something. I feel bad. So anyways, for El Camino tonight in their win against Helix, it was a big, big night. As I said, Lee Norman Lester was scrambling and making runs and doing a lot, but it was just too much for the Highlanders there in the end with Helix trailing the late. They were down 35-20, then 42-20, then 49-20. So long night really in the end for the Highlanders after it was all said and done.
I don't know what happened to. I really didn't expect them to have such a hard time. I was thinking more of a 7-point differential after talking to them, all the players, and then the same. I mean, like the same thing with El Cajon, not even being able to get into the end zone like that. I just Oh man, and they were so fired up. And Helix was too. I really thought that was going to be one of those 27-24 games, and I'm sure you thought the same when it comes to Helix.
Oh
And
no, I thought I picked them to win. I really thought that they would win the game. Actually, in the end, not once it started. No, it wasn't looking good at all. They had a hard time defensively as El Camino was able to kind of control the ball, big plays, missed tackles. It was a pretty rough night for sure for the Highlanders defensively.
no, how good do we with our what's our measuring stick for how good really the and I don't want to upset the Mount McGill coach at all, because he does have so many good players, so many good coaches. How good are these Matadors this year?
Oh, right now you'd have to consider them as an open division contender with these other teams. It does seem like if you go by the power rankings and the influx of talent, that Lincoln is going to be number one, and Granite Hills certainly is going to give them all that pressure again. I mean, they're the defending champs. Let's remember at this point. It's just that it does seem like the talk and what you've seen. Hey, until you're knocked off, you're number one. Granite Hills is number one, but not only Lincoln, but we've got to see with Cathedral what their situation is going to be like, because they've made a big jump as well. But it certainly seems like you can put right now the Mount McGill Matadors in the group of, I don't know, 5, 6, maybe 7 teams that could compete with an outside chance. You just got to see how the schedule shakes out. But I just think they are. And I think right now it's Granite Hills, Mount McGill, and Helix in the Grossmont Hills League at this point off of the performances tonight.
Well, I don't have. I'm gonna. I don't have a score from the Mount McGill, or not the Mount McGill, the Monte Vista game. I thought for sure Cassine,
Yeah,
because
I'll try it here. Let me see. Go ahead.
I was just thinking. So I was gonna say something about that was Cameron Will, right?
Yes, for Mountain Empire. Okay, well, if you want to hang out, I'm trying to get on here and make sure I see the show here. And I want to grip these highlights so I can start tabulating. No one's, sending us their data yet at this point. So I've got to watch this show and make sure. But I'm ready to get out, actually, Dave.
Okay, no problem. I will get you the Mountain Empire and Monte Vista before the end of the evening. And other than that, folks, I think it's going to just get better as we, just like the teams are going to get better. We'll get better as the season prevails, and then we'll also get ready for those playoffs, and that'll really bring some exciting action. And don't forget, the Christian Patriots are playing tomorrow. What time are they playing, Ramon?
Yeah, Dave, the Patriots tomorrow are going to be taking on Linfield Christian of Temecula. So that one, let's see here. I'll get you a game time on that.
And they go on the road.
I thought they were tonight, actually, since they were on the road, but it's going to be at 7 p.m. It says here right now at Linfield Christian. So hopefully the Patriots come out with that one. And our thank you to our sponsors, Granite Mortgage and Lakeside Equipment, for sponsoring the post-game show. I guess I'll come back and do it again with you next week.
Absolutely. I think it's just going to get better, and just to make a couple of tweaks here and there. And Coach Berner said he's going to get it all handled over there too, and then we'll be hearing from him too. So great job. And I'm going to say, for Ramon Scott, I'm Dave Dickens, and thank you for joining us for the post game